Hi, this is Scott with today's thought. Some time ago, I heard a story about a man on a New York subway. It was a Sunday morning. Some of the passengers on that train were reading the morning newspaper. Others were lost in their thoughts. Some had their eyes closed, resting. It was rather serene and peaceful. And then they stopped at one station, and in the mix of people that boarded was a father with his children. Immediately, the scenario changed. The father sat down next to this man and just kind of buried his head, oblivious to what was going on, as his children were extremely noisy and rambunctious. They were throwing things at one another and bumping into passengers and snatching at their newspapers. And the man was increasingly growing irritated. And he began to play scenarios out in his mind as to what this father must be like. Finally, his irritation reached such a level, he turned and commented to the father, "Do you think you can do anything to help your children's behavior be more controlled?" Well, that father slowly raised his head as if coming back to consciousness, and he said, "Oh, my, I guess I should. We've just come from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago. I really don't know what to think, and I'm sure they really don't know how to act." Well, immediately, the irritated man's attitude shifted from irritation to compassion. Immediately, his demeanor changed from a dissatisfaction with the father's parenting to a concern of how can I help this man and his children. And so he shared his sympathy and asked, "How can I be of help to you at this point?" Friends, the fact of the matter is, when we don't know the rest of the story, we make up the rest of the story. And in the mind of this man on the subway, he was filling in the blanks with his own conclusions that this father was negligent and not a good parent and wasn't maintaining control over his children. When he got the truth, it radically altered his paradigm and his perspective. Listen, there's a lot of things going on these days that we don't know the rest of the story, and we're tempted to make up the rest of the story. So what are our politicians doing? What about the scientists and the physicians? Why can't they more quickly get at a vaccine? What are we going to do about reopening life, and how quickly can we get there? And if we're people of faith, we may even wonder, God, what are you doing? Why don't you fix this? Well, have we experienced God to be generous and gracious in times past? Yes, we have. And so my encouragement to us today is this: let's trust Him. Let's ask for grace to be patient and to wait on Him. God is at work, and God is doing something eternally important that will be for human good and human flourishing. When we reach the point at which we can see the rest of the story, we will understand how good God has been during this time. So let us hold on to hope, confidence, faith in the goodness of our God.